Straight Explorer is a content creator who dedicates himself to venturing through forests, derelict buildings with dark pasts, and locations tied to disturbing events. He documents everything on camera, always hoping to catch something out of the ordinary, though most outings end without incident. This particular trip, though, wasn't even meant to be one of those hunts. He simply wanted to head out into the woods, set up camp, and enjoy himself. What he got instead was something that left him genuinely rattled.
And guys, we are back with another adventure. As you can see, we're jumping right into this one. You know, it is a running theme on this channel that I am always late. I may feel or seem a little bit off, and that is because I've literally I've been here, I've put my bag down here, I've been here for about 10-15 minutes. I don't know if I've said where we are. We are in the infamous Hopworth Woods. Now this place is ancient, and I'm going to get into some of the stories later, but there has been over the years a lot of people doing rituals and stuff in here. There's been arrests, well, I'm going to get into that later.
He got his tarp and hammock sorted, then hunted around for firewood so he could get a blaze going, partly for warmth, partly to get some food on. For a while, everything felt perfectly normal. The atmosphere was relaxed, nothing seemed off, and he was just looking forward to a quiet night. Then the situation shifted, and it didn't stop shifting.
That was the sound of someone walking around again. That's 3 times now. 3 times tonight I've heard someone walking around.
He began picking up the sound of footsteps nearby, yet every time he turned to look, there was nobody there. He swept the surrounding trees with his flashlight and came up empty. He kept tending to his food, trying to play it cool, but the unease building inside him was hard to ignore.
What was that? Hello?
Whatever it was remained invisible, yet the sounds and footsteps kept drawing nearer. An animal would typically have moved on by now, spooked by the fire, the smell, the human presence. But this didn't move on. He eventually climbed into his hammock and shut the camera off, hoping to get some sleep and resume filming come morning. Instead, he was jolted awake deep in the night by the sound of heavy footsteps making deliberate circles around his camp. That was all he needed.
There's someone walking around outside. I've been listening for 5 minutes. I can't see anyone, but I can hear them. Yeah, I just woke up and I could hear someone walking around out there to my left, over by the where the fire was. Hello?
He threw his gear together as quickly as he could, made his way back through the darkness to his car, and got out of there entirely. He never did work out what had been lurking around him, but whatever it was clearly alive, aware, and in no hurry to leave. An animal? A person? He genuinely couldn't say. But here's the thing. Most wildlife will bolt at the first sign of noise, confrontation, or a direct call into the darkness. This didn't. And that's the part that lingers. Because if it was a person deliberately staying out of sight, that raises a whole other question. What exactly were they waiting around for? Maybe it was completely harmless, maybe not. But in a remote location, surrounded by total darkness, the smart move is always to leave first and wonder later. So I want to know what you think. Was something genuinely out there or not? An animal, a person, or something else entirely? A group of men had settled in for what they expected to be a calm, relaxing night of car camping out in the woods. The hours passed without incident, until midnight rolled around and everything changed. Out of nowhere, a leopard wandered right into their camp. Fortunately, they spotted it before things could escalate, and the big cat slipped back into the darkness just as fast as it had arrived. Brendan James is an American stealth van camper and the creator behind the YouTube channel Brendan Explores. His approach to travel is deliberately understated. He relies on careful observation, quiet habits, and situational awareness as he navigates from place to place. He went into this particular outing expecting more of the same laid-back experience, but events quickly tested his instincts and pushed him well outside his usual comfort zone. March 18th, 2025. The plan was a 4-day camper van journey through southeast England. Before any of that could begin though, the van itself demanded attention. A sink had developed a leak that needed sorting out before he could hit the road.
Some more accessories for this van, one of which being a brand new placemat to be able to go at the front once we've obviously cleaned that and given it a mop. Probably should have done that before I clicked record. Ah well. And I've already started getting some camp supplies together, most importantly 2 bowls of kimchi spicy noodles from Home Bargains. They are absolutely to die for. First things first, let's get this diesel heater on, get some heat running through this fan before my toes fall off. And let's see if we can get to work on this pipe.
With the fix taken care of, he set off, pressing on despite the fact that the day had already gotten off to a rocky start. His next priority was tracking down a decent place to spend the night. The first candidate was tucked near a wooded area, but the ground had turned soft and waterlogged. The mud posed a real risk, and the van began sliding enough to make him think twice. He carefully reversed out before things got worse. A second option brought him closer to where he was due to meet up with someone. This one sat alongside a reservoir, offered more open ground, and gave him room to use leveling blocks under the van. Against the earlier spot, it felt like a much more manageable choice. He got the van level and fired up the diesel heater to take the edge off the cold.
And we're in. And we're in. Oh. That was a rough drive. Oh, I'm knackered now. After using the leveling blocks, we're still not 100% level.
That's when things started getting busy around him. Cars began pulling in, their headlights cutting across the van, voices drifting through the darkness, and the surrounding stillness giving way to steady movement.
We're outside. Just parked up looking at us, and somebody is coming towards the van with a head torch on. Someone's at the back of the van. What the hell is this person doing? He's just sat there. the headlight shine at the van? There was absolutely no reason why anyone should be down this road at this time of night unless they're camping. That's a car, not a van. Another car's just pulled up.
Any sense of privacy quickly evaporated. Brendan kept a close eye on what was unfolding, and something about the whole scene just didn't sit right with him.
Way too many of them. Not enough of me.
That uneasy feeling lingered long enough to convince him to pack up and move on once more. He went through the whole process again, leveling the van, getting the heater running, and setting up the bed. Rain moved in overnight, and the temperature dropped, but this final location offered enough shelter and seclusion to actually feel secure. The van stayed warm, and the quieter surroundings made rest possible. Come morning, he stepped out to assess things. The rain was still falling, and the chill hadn't lifted. Even so, this spot was a clear improvement over everything that had come before. He worked through his morning routine, cleaning up, sorting his gear, and getting supplies back in order. The reservoir sat largely obscured behind the gray overcast, though it hinted at better scenery once the weather turned. Before heading out, he took one more look around the water and gave the van a final tidy up.
Dun-dun! Me in the morning. Whoa. It's not a pretty sight, but we're up. It's raining.
The takeaways couldn't have been clearer. Scout your locations with care, know what your van can and can't handle, and never assume a solo trip through unpredictable conditions will go exactly as planned. The Project Purgatory crew headed out to the unsettling Cobb Forest for a paranormal investigation, but once darkness took over,
I know you heard that shit.
Yeah. It sounds like a tambourine.
I know you hear him laughing.
Yeah.
You don't hear him laughing? Flip, you don't hear this nigga laughing?
He's in the bush right there.
Should we walk by him?
Are we going?
What the fuck? Should we go over there?
Yes.
Let's go.
If anything.
things initially appeared completely uneventful. The shadowy, overgrown trails were dead quiet, with absolutely nothing out of the ordinary to speak of. That peaceful stillness, however, was about to be shattered in a dramatic way.
Yeah. Hey. Bro, what? I don't even...
Okay.
Walking through, we see a group standing around in a circle. Two of them laughing for no reason. We start walking, we see one pop up behind a bush, just standing there straight staring at us. Then the group all in a circle starts looking at us while we walk by them, and then they start following us as we walk by them. So we all got our shit out right now. Nah, this ain't one of them ones, bro. This ain't one of them ones. I'll take a nigga off a cliff with me. I'm surviving, bro. That's all I know.
Bro, I'll tell you what. Ghosts for one thing. People.
You see the dude in black just standing there looking at us?
Yeah, that man just popped up out of the bush.
Bro, make sure you keep it. Like, you hear that shit?
Why are they following us?
They're following us, bro. They're following us.
I know they're following.
Deep in the woods, they stumbled upon a group of people standing completely still in the darkness, seemingly engaged in some kind of ritualistic activity. The campers were unsure how to react at first, until the situation took a sharp turn and the decision was made for them.
Sounds like drumming.
Is that them?
Yeah.
Come on up on him, come on.
I'm not sticking around.
I feel like they surrounding us.
Get him. You just say get him?
Nigga, run!
Yeah, I'm not sticking around.
Chills shot through everyone when a voice called out, "Get them with the light," a clear signal that their presence was not welcome out there. Gripped by fear, they scrapped their camping plans entirely and got out. This footage comes from a YouTube channel called JB Good, and curiously, it's the one and only upload ever posted there. It was recorded on September 5th, 2014. A group of friends were on their way back from a camping trip, heading toward their countryside getaway, when their drive took a deeply unsettling turn. They found themselves on a remote stretch of road, cutting through dense woodland, and something unexpected moved into their path.
Come on, Si, sing.
Woohoo! Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Clap along if you know.
You're so good at that.
What the fuck? Look.
What?
Size of it.
What?
No, can you not see that?
Oh my god, what is that?
It's a dog, isn't it?
Can you hear that growling?
As their headlights washed over the road ahead, a large shape materialized in the distance. Their first instinct was that it was a dog, possibly injured and in need of assistance, so they began to slow down, completely unprepared for what they were actually dealing with.
Oh my god.
What's
What's it doing? Oh my god. Is it a dog? Is it hurt? I think, yeah, let's go and have a look.
Sure.
Yeah.
Shit.
They were convinced the figure crouched on the road was nothing but a wounded animal. Out of concern, the group decided to stop the car. They climbed out, fully expecting to help some poor creature in distress. But standing there in the dead of night, hemmed in by thick trees and an almost suffocating silence, what appeared to be harmless could easily have been the beginning of something far more sinister.
Let's go and have a look.
Sure.
Yeah.
Shit.
Come on, let's go have a look. Come on. Guys, let's go, just stop, just get out and have a look. God. I'm really scared. Tom! Where is it?
The nearer they approached, the more their unease began to grow. Deep, rumbling growls rolled through the darkness, close enough to raise the hair on the back of their necks. Every part of them was screaming to retreat, yet they kept moving forward. Then this is what unfolded.
Sophie! I'm scared. Guys. Is it? It sounds really close. Right, get in the car now, Tom. Sophie, get in. Oh my god. Go.
Just as they closed the distance, the growling cut out completely, replaced almost immediately by a haunting howl echoing from the opposite direction. In that moment, it became clear this was no ordinary injured animal. Whatever it was,
This wasn't just an injured animal.
it posed a far greater threat than they had imagined. Terror took over, and the group bolted back to the car. That's where the footage ends. What followed remains a complete mystery, since the channel was never touched again, and this video stands as its only record. So what was this thing? It didn't move the way a dog would, and it bore little resemblance to a wolf either. Something about it was just different. Nobody has ever been able to identify what those friends encountered on that road, and to this day, the footage raises far more questions than it will ever answer. The next chilling video comes from Swamp Valley, a UK-based YouTube channel dedicated to bushcraft, wild camping, and outdoor survival. The man behind the channel, Sky Miller, documents everything from gear reviews and woodland workshops to hands-on DIY projects like hand-making bushcraft knives and bringing old canoes back to life. It's October 28th, 2022. and the shelter had been wrapped in an almost unsettling calm. Too calm, Sky sat close to the fire, taking in the soft pop of burning wood and the faint whisper of wind moving through the trees. Then the atmosphere shifted. A sound cut through the quiet that had no business being there. It was weighted, purposeful, like something or someone was making its way through the tree line just beyond his sight. He went still, ears sharp. Silence. Then a branch cracked close by, loud and deliberate. His instincts kicked in immediately. He grabbed his axe and swept his gaze across the dark pulse hammering in his chest. There was no doubt something was out there. He caught brief, unsettling glimpses, shadows moving in ways that didn't make sense. A glint of eye shine there 1 second, and gone the next. This wasn't just a wandering animal. Whatever it was seemed to be stalking him, watching from a distance, edging closer with every passing moment.
You guys hear that? That was... I wonder if it's the goat. There used to be a goat that kicked around here. But I've never made that noise before. That was... I don't know. Yeah, that was weird. But anyway, it's hot dog time. Keep an eye on that. I don't know what it is, but see when you come out to the woods on your own, it's always just a bit more creepy. I think I'm freaking myself out. But anyway, we're good. It's hot dog time. Oh, looks amazing. Just going for your bog standard ketchup and yeah, ketchup and mustard. Go. Look at that. Oh. So I've been hearing that noise a lot more. It's been basically surrounding the camp. I heard it over there. I've heard it up that way. Yeah, it's not often, it's like every 20 minutes or so, maybe half an hour, but it is weird. Sounds really funny. I've set up a little thing, I've got my bag with my jacket in it. I've tried to sort of copy me sitting there, and I'm going to try and sneak away.
Once his camp is set up, the strange sounds start closing in, and Sky becomes increasingly convinced he's not alone out there. He even rigs up a decoy in hopes of drawing the unknown presence toward him and getting it on film.
Yeah, it seems like everything's been quiet for about 10 minutes. Let's just hope that we can figure out what this is. I bet it's a farm or something like that, just messing with me. There's a nice wee ditch. Okay, so I found myself a wee hidey spot. I'm getting bloody soaked out here. It's been about 10 minutes and I'm just filming. Like zoomed in. Sorry if it's a bit pixelated. My camera doesn't zoom that good. Oh fuck. See anything. Oh, what the hell is that? Is that a man? Where'd he go? That's when I want the dog.
So what do you think he actually captured? Was it just some guy wandering the woods at night? Some kind of creature? Or something that defies explanation entirely? Drop your theories down in the comments.
Hello? Hello? And as soon as I said hello, it just disappeared.
If it really were just another person out there, you'd expect them to answer when called out to. And Sky called out not once, but twice. Both times he was met with dead silence, which makes the whole thing feel a lot more unsettling than a simple case of trespassing. Ask yourself,
I don't like that at all. Yeah, I don't like that at all. I'm gonna get my axe and keep it very, very close to me, because that is the weirdest thing. Yeah, this is taking a bit of a turn. I've been having the most stressful week, and I was like, I'm coming out to the woods to chill, have a nice relaxing time. Whatever. I think it's a guy. Like, I'm guessing, I don't know, maybe because it's Halloween, it's some guy like messing with me or something. Seen me coming out. But it's just weird. Like, that is weird behaviour. And I cannot see or hear anything now. I'll get back to you. Well folks, I came out here for a nice chill time in the woods. Like, I love camping. That's basically what I like about coming out for solo camps, is that you're out by yourself and you can relax and just see.
what would you have done in his shoes? He came out to these woods looking for nothing more than a relaxing night under the stars. Instead, he found himself in something far more threatening. Would you have stayed put knowing that something unknown was circling the shadows around you?
What is going on out there? Whatever that thing is still just creeping about, making noise, and this is making me feel really uneasy. And I tried shouting at it or like calling it, and every time it just disappears. And yeah, I'm just calling it. I'm going home because I don't want to stay out here and just feel it. What the fuck? What the fuck are you? Ah, Jesus. Jesus Christ. Oh. Okay, I don't even know. Oh, fuck. I don't know what just happened there. Yeah, that thing, it just came around. I don't know, I don't even know how much of that was on camera, but it just came at me, and yeah, I hit it with the axe, and it's like, I don't know, it's so weird, like it's not got blood or it's got blue, like I don't know, it's so weird, like, oh, it's so weird, man. What even is that? It's like a person, but it's not. Oh, Jesus. Oh, no. It's like, oh. I need to take a minute, figure out what's going on.
Just as he's weighing whether to pack everything up and get out, something launches itself at him from the darkness. His axe was already in hand, and he manages to hold his ground. But the question that lingers is what exactly came at him. It had a vaguely human shape, but something was off about it. Could this be some kind of cryptid, a skinwalker, or something else entirely? Fortunately, Sky walked away without a scratch, but the whole experience leaves a question hanging in the air. What exactly did he encounter out there in those woods? Tell us what you believe in the comments below. Tonight's clip comes from Red Child, a TikTok creator with a lively channel covering everything from travel adventures and music to viral challenges and everyday life. On December 4th, 2023, however, what was supposed to be a relaxing solo camping trip through a public forest took a deeply unsettling turn. A quiet night under the trees became a nightmare the moment a stranger stormed into the campsite, aggressively declaring the land was his.
I wanted to camp in a forest, but a crazy guy is trying to burn my tent. Watch what he's gonna do. He's angry because he thinks it's his forest and he doesn't want anyone to sleep here. But it's not. It's a public forest. And it's not over. Look at what he did after that.
I wanted to leave and I picked up a few things and started walking towards my car, but he completely ruined it.
Oh no. Hey, please, I'm leaving.
Red Child maintained that the forest was open to the public, but this man wasn't hearing any of it, making it abundantly clear that nobody was welcome on that ground, and things deteriorated rapidly from there. The individual grew increasingly hostile and, in a shocking escalation, began dousing the tent in gasoline while threatening to set it ablaze unless Rachel packed up and cleared out immediately. Fearing for their life, the camper grabbed what they could and bolted toward the car, only to find it had already been tampered with, almost certainly by the same person. But even that wasn't the end of it. The stranger reportedly pursued Rachel through the trees, swinging a bat and screaming threats. Luckily, the camper got away without any physical harm, though the ordeal left a lasting impact and serves as a chilling reminder of just how exposed solo travelers can be. Whether the man was in the grip of a mental health episode, intoxicated, or acting out of something else entirely remains unknown. What isn't in question is how fast things went from a verbal dispute to a genuine threat on someone's life. It's a stark illustration of how unpredictable public spaces can truly be, and how even seasoned solo campers can find themselves blindsided. What would you have done if you were in that situation? Would you hold your ground or trust your gut and flee the second something felt wrong? Drop your thoughts in the comments and maybe think carefully before heading out alone on your next camping trip. In September 2024, a creator named Megan posted a deeply unsettling video to her YouTube channel, MINDJUNKIE. Typically known for lifestyle content and travel updates, this particular upload described a frightening run-in during a camping trip that left her audience genuinely shaken.
And I think I've been out for 5 days. It was safe there. When I got home from the psychiatric facility, there were cockroaches in my bed. Can you believe that? So that's why I'm in Humboldt. Well, that's why I'm back in Humboldt. I'm staying at my dad's again, and it's really bad. Every day we've been scream fighting. And then I come to the woods for like 4 hours and decompress. And then I go back home, and then he acts like nothing happens. Like a true narcissist. Like the true narcissist here. Okay, well, you scared me.
Oh, thanks. Okay. Scared the shit to walk by and eat the shit.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Work pretty hard. Don't worry.
Okay, I'm
You're
sorry.
probably more dangerous than me. You're probably more evil than me. Look at the dark hair the same. You're bomb. Little stoner.
That was absolutely horrifying. The man's motives toward Megan were never made clear, but his conduct spoke for itself as he closed in on her while clutching a broken bottle. Acting on her gut feeling, Megan wasted no time getting out of the area, and thankfully, no one came after her. She made it out of those woods without harm.
I'm shaking. That was scary. Thought I was just about to get killed. He said that I looked evil. I can't even enjoy the woods because of tweakers. Like, look how beautiful it is here. I love Humboldt, but the tweakers, he was coming right at me. And so obviously I'm gonna be scared. And then he's like, you're probably more scary than me. Your dark hair and your veins. Like, sir, I'm just a cute stoner trying.
God, and just look at that. Her ability to think clearly under pressure almost certainly kept things from taking a far darker turn. Though what that man actually wanted will never be fully known, what Megan went through stands as a sobering reminder that danger can find you even in the most seemingly tranquil settings. Junkyard Fox is a YouTube channel focused on outdoor survival and bushcraft, run by a creator named James, who regularly documents his primitive camping adventures. His content tends to be laid back and scenic, centered around appreciating nature and honing wilderness skills, but this particular upload stands out as something far more unsettling. Back in May 2021, he posted footage capturing a frightening incident that unfolded while he was spending the night in a handmade shelter deep in the West Texas desert. After just 2 hours of sleep, he was jolted awake by blaring music and the sound of a truck rolling up close to his camp.
Okay, folks, so change of plans. I was asleep for 2 hours, then I woke up to a truck driving nearby, and they shot my truck. They legitimately shot the windows on my truck. People I don't know.
Since the area was completely dark, the men likely had no idea anyone was out there in the brush, and they proceeded to fire repeatedly at his parked truck for several seconds, completely oblivious to the fact that he was tucked inside a camouflage shelter just a short distance away. Eventually, the shooters cleared out of the area, and that's when he finally steps out to assess the damage and walk his audience through exactly what went down.
These are my windows. This is insane. Once again, I have no clue who these people are. They're just drunks. I could hear the loud music, that's what woke me up. And sure enough, so I'm guessing this trip is over.
Later in the video, he mentions that he had a small handgun on him and was prepared to defend himself, though engaging multiple armed individuals in total darkness would have been a disastrous decision. It's hard to say what their actual intentions were, but given how recklessly they behaved, they were most likely a group of intoxicated locals looking for something to shoot at. Thankfully, he made it out without injury and managed to drive the battered truck all the way home in the dead of night. A group of hikers venturing through a restricted area at an undisclosed location suddenly reversed course mid-trail. There, stretched across the path directly in front of them, was a tiger, fast asleep. It appears they spotted it just barely in time. What would possess someone to wander into a restricted zone, knowing that tigers move freely through the area? On April 2nd, 2012, a team of wildlife researchers set out to document elephant behavior on film, but their plans were quickly derailed when a group of agitated elephants began closing in, filling the air with thunderous, menacing calls.
Hostile fashion. A lot of vocal
confrontation. We're going to try and create a distance here. They're highly agitated, these cars, all forming a front, racing all over the place. We're just going to jet backwards and give them the room that they want, so everybody just stay calm. Listen to those sounds. Highly intimidating. Obviously in reverse and settle down a bit. The car is still demonstrating, and now maybe an option for me to remove myself a little bit swifter, create a bit more distance, because at walking speed they seem to be coming at the same pace as us. And when it opens up a bit, we'll have far better.
African elephants claim more human lives each year than any other large animal on the continent, killing more people annually than lions, leopards, and rhinos put together. Had those elephants decided to charge at full force, their multi-ton frames would have reduced that vehicle to crumpled scrap in seconds. And running wouldn't have saved anyone. Elephants can hit 25 miles per hour and have been documented chasing down perceived threats across vast distances. Consider that a single elephant's foot weighs several hundred pounds on its own, and when driven into the ground by the full force of a 12,000-pound animal, it doesn't leave much of a human being behind, just shattered bone and destroyed tissue. The terrifying reality is that the people in that vehicle would have remained conscious through the opening moments of a trampling, fully aware as their chests caved in and their internal organs gave way before the mercy of unconsciousness finally took over. Behind the camera is a woman whose passion for the outdoors has shaped her entire channel, built around hunting, fishing, and solo journeys deep into the wild. Her content strikes a perfect balance between raw authenticity and genuine excitement, particularly when nature throws her a curveball she wasn't expecting. On this occasion, she settled in for a late-season deer hunt from her blind, looking forward to a calm evening sit, but the wilderness had something else in mind entirely.
A few days left of rifle season, so I'm gonna go sit for like a solid till dark, like 5 hours. It's a little warmer today finally, it's like 50 degrees. It's been freezing lately, but I'm gonna head over to a different spot where I've got a blind set up. This blind for my dad last year. Somehow it's still standing. It's over in some trees on the top of a ridge, so.
She's making her way to a blind her father had used the season before. 2 hours pass without much action, just the familiar sounds of the forest, squirrels leaping between branches, the occasional rustle of leaves. Heidi's working her way through an apple, and once she's finished, she casually pitches the core out the window of the blind. A small, seemingly harmless decision that's about to change the mood dramatically. When a black bear is staring you down from just a few feet away, with nothing standing between you, shouting boo honestly seems like a completely rational move. She quickly puts it together that the apple core she threw out earlier was almost certainly what lured the bear in.
That's insane. That thing was literally like nose to nose with me. And I freaked out and I said boo. Oh my gosh, that was so crazy. I saw him running from like so far away and he came literally straight to me. And my blind window is like all the way down. And he literally came and like looked in the window like at my face and he was like making me this. I don't know what he was gonna do. I was so scared. I should have probably waited and just seen like what he was gonna do. It's like the only thing I've seen so far except a million squirrels, but crazy. Also, I forgot to mention, I threw out that apple. After I ate it, I threw it out the blind.
And this right here is what makes hunting in the wilderness so impossible to predict. One minute you're sitting quietly, munching a snack and waiting on deer, and the next you're locked in a tense stare down with a black bear through an open window. Heidi's instinct, if hollering boo at a bear even counts as an instinct, likely kept the situation from escalating into something far more terrifying. Brian's Paranormal Travels is a channel built on quiet intensity, where the supernatural isn't played up for shock value, but approached with patience, careful observation, and a genuine respect for what can't be easily explained. Brian has always operated differently from other investigators. He doesn't go sprinting after every shadow, and he doesn't turn every flicker of movement into a dramatic moment. He watches, he listens, he lets the location speak for itself. This time, that approach led him to Amsterdam, just past the city's edges, beyond the canals and crowded streets, and the constant hum of everyday life, stood something the modern world had nearly forgotten. A burial ground the locals call the House of Question. It's a place people rarely mention, where memory has been left to erode, and where the weight of time feels almost physical. That evening, Brian set up camp nearby, ready to spend the night documenting whatever the location had to offer. His intentions were straightforward: walk the grounds during daylight hours, capture what he could on camera, and find out whether the dark reputation surrounding this place had any real foundation. But the further he pushed into those overgrown pathways, the clearer it became that nothing about this visit would be routine.
All these overgrown graves, just look how nature is taking it back. How incredible. Oh, I was just walking here and I got some hits on the EMF. And it's kind of like I get this sense when I'm walking that I feel a sense of cold and eeriness in a way. Hard to explain. Like right now, I'm sincerely got chills. And I looked down and I saw the EMF going off. A real strange thing, my spirit app today, here in the cemetery, keeps on turning itself off. I'm not quite sure if that's a problem with my phone, or is something in this cemetery turning it off.
Standing alone among tilting headstones and the ivy that had slowly consumed them, Brian extended his EMF reader. At first, nothing. Then the needle lurched, once, twice, shooting upward as if responding to something invisible. The air felt dense, almost electric. The cemetery, which had been perfectly still just moments earlier, seemed to hold itself in suspension. Afternoon light cut through the tree canopy and scattered gold across the ground. But that warmth meant nothing here. It offered no reassurance, only a creeping sensation of being observed. Something occupied this space, and it wasn't Brian alone.
How beautiful that is. Oh my, look at that. That's a huge one with like a stone fence there. Oh my goodness. It's pretty incredible. But I do have the sense that something is following me throughout the cemetery today. It's pretty incredible. So I'm getting the feeling like something wants me to go to this back. I try to avoid it because it sounds like in that part of the city there's a lot of construction where you cross. Interesting. So I have the vibe to come over here. Oh my, that was loud. These trees are just absolutely stunningly beautiful. I mean, look at this. They're really incredible trees, and they've made such a beautiful park here. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. I just got crazy.
He found himself gravitating toward the far end of the grounds, a section he'd been avoiding because of the city noise seeping over the walls. But something, curiosity, instinct, or maybe neither, kept pulling him forward. With every step he took in that direction, the device in his hand surged with a fresh reading.
What did you just do? Did you touch me? Nothing. You just touched me? Was that you? Please don't do that again. That was not pleasant. I got a burning on the back of my neck right now. Okay, if that was you, please do not touch me again in that way. Oh man, I have to check when I get home. Man, this is crazy. And I noticed the noise over there from the construction is getting louder and more harsh. And I don't think that has anything to do with the graveyard, but maybe it's antagonizing the spirits here. But I had the sense it wanted me to come back here. So look, I'm here. That's what it just said. This is, I got the sincere vibe to come back in this area. These are children's graves.
The EMF wasn't jumping erratically anymore. It held steady, burning bright and unrelenting, as though it had locked onto a fixed point. But Brian didn't really need the equipment to confirm it. His body already knew. The entire atmosphere had changed around him. This was no longer just the suggestion of something lingering. This was an actual presence. He wasn't simply walking through an abandoned cemetery anymore. He was being registered by it, noticed.
Fond memories here. Fond memories here.
Tracked. That's when Brian spotted him. An elderly man, pale-faced, his figure cutting a sharp contrast against the ivy-covered stone behind him. He made no sound. He didn't speak, didn't gesture, didn't acknowledge Brian in any conventional way. Brian moved on, carrying a feeling he couldn't quite name, but the encounter wasn't finished.
This one, 1905 to 1915. Oh, the poor girl's only 10 years old. Maybe that's one of the children's spirits they say they hear here in the cemetery. Oh my goodness, and there's another one in here. Oh wow. Folks, I am literally, I'm not kidding you, I am being followed in here, and it's a really, really strange vibe. It's an old man, and it's not a, it's just, he keeps following me around. And it's really the creepiest thing ever. I had that happen at a cemetery in Paris, where some old dude just happened to pop up on me near a crypt, and in here, I literally have an old guy following me around. I've been going around the cemetery for a while. I stopped filming and I just wanted to take some photos and look around. This guy, everywhere I turn and everything, the guy is like literally right over there. And every time, and I said hello to him as I walked by, he didn't even respond. He just gave me a really weird...
Every time Brian adjusted his route, the man mirrored it. Every time Brian stopped, so did he. His presence was immovable, his gaze locked on Brian with something cold and territorial behind it. There was nothing frantic about it, nothing wild or aggressive. It was measured, deliberate, and somehow that made it worse than any outburst could have. Brian offered a greeting, his voice cutting into the silence between them. Nothing came back. Just that same unblinking stare, heavy and unmoving, as though issuing a challenge Brian had no interest in accepting. He had no real choice but to leave. He'd arrived at that cemetery with modest intentions, a quiet overnight stay, a brief walkthrough, a video that might capture something of the site's history and slow decay. What he encountered instead refused to be filed away as history. This was not a dormant place. It was something operating, something willing to show itself in broad daylight without needing the cover of darkness to do so. Even after he walked away, The weight of what had happened refused to lift. The cemetery's silence clung to him, woven into the back of his thoughts. Some locations don't require darkness to leave a mark on you. Some don't release their hold simply because you put distance between yourself and their gates. They remain pressed into your memory, quietly persistent long after you've returned to the ordinary rhythm of the world. This image carries that telltale graininess that comes with nighttime photography. Because of the low light conditions, only the creature's silhouette is really distinguishable. That dark, looming shape cuts through the murky background, though any fine details are lost. What you can make out is an oddly proportioned head and a two-legged stance that looks unsettlingly familiar. So what's your first instinct? If Bigfoot just jumped to mind, then we're already on the same page. The classic description of Bigfoot involves an ape-like build, a rounded dome of a skull, and a posture that's surprisingly human. Whatever this thing is, it checks most of those boxes, except for one glaring detail. The head is noticeably tiny. So are we looking at some kind of undersized cranium Bigfoot, or is there a completely different explanation here? Any cryptid specialists in the comments, now would be a great time to weigh in.
In this video, solo traveler Sydney documented what began as a peaceful road trip along the Oregon coast, before turning into one of the most unsettling nights she'd experienced on the road. After spending the day exploring beaches, historic forts, and wildlife-filled parks, she crossed into Washington and searched for a place to camp.
Haystack Rock. I'm heading out to the spot where they filmed that iconic Goonies scene, and then later today I'll be crossing over into Washington to set up camp, because tomorrow I've got to push all the way up to Seattle. I am genuinely pumped. Today is going to be great, and honestly tomorrow is shaping up to be just as good.
The site she found was wrong immediately. Trash littered the ground. A makeshift burn pile sat beside her car like an improvised outhouse. Dense forest pressed in from all sides, and a steep hillside loomed above her camp, its trees leaning unnaturally close. As darkness fell, rain began to pour, soaking the ground and amplifying.
The view here is honestly a little unsettling. I just don't have the energy to keep climbing any higher up this mountain, so I'm going to make camp right here beside this charming little burn pile that's apparently doubling as a makeshift outhouse. I'll get the car set up for sleeping, crawl in, and throw together a peanut butter and honey sandwich for dinner. Would you look at the size of this thing? Someone in the comments actually suggested I give it a name last time, and honestly, they weren't wrong. It's massive enough to deserve one. Let me check the distance to Seattle from here. Oh wow, it's under 3 hours away.
Inside her vehicle, Sydney tried to ignore the feeling creeping over her, the sense that something wasn't right. Hours passed. The rain intensified. Her gut told her to leave, over and over again. She worried that waiting until morning could trap her there if a tree fell or the road.
It is pitch black in here. I literally cannot see a thing. Where did you go, honey? Oh no, I just planted my elbow directly into the bread. Can you believe this right now? I am literally camping next to a toilet. I cannot wait to eventually sleep somewhere with 4 actual walls.
At nearly 2 a.m., she listened to that instinct, packed up, and drove off into the night. She later admitted she felt no relief until she was far away. A reminder that sometimes the scariest encounters are the ones where nothing ever shows itself at all.
It's only 2 in the morning, and something just doesn't feel right here anymore. There was this nagging feeling that kept pushing me to get out of that campsite. My instincts just wouldn't let up. I kept thinking that if I stayed until daylight, I might end up stuck, maybe blocked in by a fallen tree or something. It's been raining the entire night, and right next to my site there was a steep hill lined with trees that were already leaning pretty badly. It just felt wrong. So I'm out. I kept trying to push that feeling down, but it just kept coming back stronger. Meet Matthew, the adventurer running the YouTube channel This Is Life. His channel is a lively record of car camping trips along British Columbia's west coast, where he documents the freedom of the open road, the excitement of outdoor pursuits, and the quiet satisfaction of whipping up a meal beneath a canopy of stars. Matthew's content captures what it truly means to explore and connect with the natural world. But on this particular outing, he would learn just how fast a calm, peaceful evening can spiral into something terrifying, leaving him with more questions than answers. Matthew set off on what he expected to be yet another enjoyable car camping trip, keen to showcase the landscapes of British Columbia and bring his audience along for the ride. The itinerary was straightforward: shoot some hoops, try his luck fishing, and throw together a solid meal beside a crackling campfire.
To my channel, my name is Matt. If you're new here, this channel is all about car camping adventures across the
As he hit the road, Matthew talked about how pumped he was for the trip, dreaming of landing a big catch and losing himself in the backcountry.
Car camping. We're gonna play some basketball. We're gonna go have some fun with some friends. We're gonna be cooking up with the jet boil. Nice little meal planned up. Do a little bit of fishing. I'm gonna catch a 10 to 15.
After a solid stretch of fun, the group made their way toward Harrison Hot Springs, where Matthew had his sights set on finally hooking that elusive 15-pound trout. Following a great day of activities and a satisfying meal cooked up on the jet boil, Matthew settled in at his campsite, ready to kick back and relax. Then the quiet night was suddenly torn apart by a series of deeply unsettling sounds. What began as faint noises in the distance rapidly escalated into something far more alarming.
Shooting guns is a little sketchy. Sketchy. Blast of 4 or 5 every time. It's gone on like 7.
The unmistakable crack of gunshots cut through the darkness, putting Matthew on edge immediately. The shots came frequently, and how close they sounded was genuinely troubling, draining all sense of calm from the evening. Things grew more tense with every report, the blasts appearing to inch closer as the minutes ticked by.
Really sketchy. It almost sounds like they're getting closer to us. I'm actually a little worried. I'm a little scared.
What had started as mild discomfort quickly shifted into outright fear as the sounds continued to ring through the night, building a very real sense of threat. His pulse hammered as he rushed to lock his car doors and grabbed an axe on instinct, bracing himself for whatever might come next. Then he heard a vehicle peel away at speed, adding yet another unsettling layer to an already frightening situation.
Okay, I'm gonna get in my car.
Even as he tried to get his sleeping setup sorted, Matthew was far too rattled and on guard to even think about resting. The relentless gunfire kept him wound tight, turning what should have been a peaceful sleep into a long, anxious vigil.
Gunshots keep going off. I feel too sketched out to sleep. There's like cars. One shoe off. Slide in there. Other shoe can come off. Keep it down below.
He went through the mechanics of getting ready for bed, but his thoughts kept churning, replaying every sound and searching for some explanation behind it all. When Matthew finally managed to drift off, the memory of those shots clung to him, casting a shadow that stretched through the rest of the night.
Lots of gunshots on and off. I'm gonna trust that's gonna be all good.
When morning finally arrived, it brought with it a wave of relief, but also a sobering reminder of just how unpredictable the wilderness can be and how quickly danger can creep into even the most idyllic settings. The source of the gunshots and whoever was behind them remains unknown to this day, but the experience clearly left a mark on Matthew. It stands as a stark example of how an outdoor trip can flip from tranquil to terrifying in the span of a few hours. He had nothing to fall back on but his own instincts to keep himself safe, and a night meant for rest became one of constant alertness instead. One thing is certain, Matthew will be thinking a lot harder about where he lays his head down on future adventures. Ecake Acres, a creator well known for documenting his van life journey, embarked on what he expected to be a completely unremarkable camping trip. After spending the day out exploring, he found what looked like a decent spot to park, secured the van, and turned in for the night, with no idea that his feeling of safety was about to be torn apart. Then it happened. A sudden, jarring sound ripped him out of his sleep. There was something out there. Adrenaline surging, he threw himself into the driver's seat and floored it without a second glance. Once he put enough distance between himself and whatever was out there, he stopped to check the van, and what he discovered genuinely shook him.
And I was awakened to the most horrific, godforsaken sound you could ever be awakened to, and it was to claw marks, big claw marks, digging the living hell out of my van. Let me step up here so I can show you what it did. There are the claw marks right there. It dug into the paint, and it also raked its claws across the luggage rack right here. And I got damage all the way around this van because this thing that was reaching the roof of my van was hooking on with its claws like this and just raking the van. This is what I woke up to, the sound of just claws raking the body.
The marks left behind pointed to something or someone actively trying to force their way in. Could it have been a bear? A lot of people think so, though not everyone is convinced. But one thing nobody could argue with, if whatever it was had actually gotten inside, the situation would have ended up far, far worse. On May 25th, 2025, Brazilian paranormal investigator Felipe Sena, a man well known for venturing into abandoned and allegedly haunted buildings scattered across Brazil's rural heartland, returns to a place locals have come to call the House of Screams. It's a crumbling structure out in the Sertão, and according to regional legend, a horrific and violent event once unfolded there, leaving behind a wound in the spiritual fabric of the place that has never healed. The backstory is a dark one. Some years back, A couple occupied that house, and the village knew them well for their turbulent, explosive relationship. One night, after a drunken fight spiraled out of control, the husband allegedly killed his wife before ending his own life. From that point on, anyone who happened to pass the isolated property at night reported hearing blood-curdling screams pouring out from within, with no apparent source and no rational explanation. Felipe opens his investigation by walking through that grim history before carefully stepping inside the deteriorating building.
Olá, tem alguém aí? Tô vindo em paz, tô vindo só gravar pro YouTube. Tudo aberto. Tem que ter cuidado. Com licença. Tem que ter cuidado aqui, tem cobra aqui debaixo, pode ter, ó. Ai, tem que ter cuidado, cara. Você quer uma cobra. Muito bom. Será que tem alguém morando aqui? Aqui.
It's been a considerable stretch of time since his last visit, and the weight of the atmosphere hits him almost immediately. The house is in serious disrepair, walls fractured, the ceiling bowing downward, old furniture strewn about, cobwebs blanketing every corner. But the decay isn't the most unsettling part. It's something harder to define. The air feels compressed, the quiet too absolute, the stillness almost suffocating. Felipe describes it as a physical heaviness bearing down on his chest. He moves carefully, staying alert throughout. The building poses real dangers beyond anything supernatural. Wasp nests dangle overhead, and the floorboards shift and threaten to give way beneath each step. Even so, he pushes forward. As he works his way through the rooms, the house begins to speak. Muffled thumping, a slow dragging sound, the unmistakable knock of something displacing itself. Then, a window slams shut without warning. Not long after, the door of an old metal stove swings open on its own. These aren't sounds you can chalk up to a breeze or a stray animal. They come too sharply, too deliberately, almost as though they're reacting to Felipe's presence. At one point, he becomes convinced something is staring at him from the darkness. A shape that appears to reflect light like an eye, catching it in a way that nothing else in the room does. Yet the moment he moves in for a closer look, there's nothing there. The further he goes, the more the house pushes back. A heavy dragging sound reverberates from somewhere at the rear of the building, and the anxiety on his face is impossible to miss. He speaks aloud in a measured tone, offering words of peace and a quiet prayer, hoping that whatever might be present will respond without aggression. The structure itself feels like it could give out at any moment, and as Felipe points out, the experience isn't limited to what his eyes and ears pick up. It's visceral, a growing sense that he is being urged to leave, a feeling that builds at the back of his mind and intensifies with every minute he remains. Eventually, after another dragging sound reverberates through the house and that oppressive pressure reaches a peak, he decides it's time to go. Whether whatever lingers in that place is driven by rage, grief, or simple confusion, no one can say for certain. What isn't in question is that something is still there, and it isn't interested in company. As always, I'll leave it to you to make up your own mind. Wahid is an outdoor content creator who's built a following around crafting tools like knives and axes, while also exploring hiking trails and forests alongside his husky. In this particular video, he and his dog venture out into the Swedish wilderness, where he runs into something so terrifying that it might put some people off ever entering a forest again. The footage opens with him out on the water fishing, and he manages to pull in a gorgeous catch. After enjoying a solid meal, the two of them hit the trail once more, this time with their sights set on scaling a rocky hillside for a view from the summit. But partway up, Wahid's husky suddenly fixes its gaze on something further down the slope. Wahid clocks his dog's reaction, follows its line of sight, and that's when he sees it.
I saw a bear. There are some birds in distress over there. I just saw an animal move. Coming here. Hey! Hey!
From where I'm standing, that bear had absolutely no clue they were up there.
Don't come here. Kom inte hit. Nej. Nej. Nej, kom inte hit! Nej! Nej! Kom inte hit! Kom inte hit! Nej, 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 nej! Nej, nej! Gå bort! Gå bort! Kom inte hit! Kom inte hit! Kom inte hit! Gå bort härifrån! Hör! Hör!
Until that moment, the bear eventually moved on, and the two of them walked away without a scratch. But here's what I want to point out. The screaming, in my view, may have actually drawn the bear toward them, rather than scared it off. The animal had probably already picked up a scent, but couldn't pinpoint exactly what or where it was coming from. Huid essentially put himself in a really dangerous spot, and he was incredibly fortunate that such a massive bear chose to walk away. I'd genuinely love to hear your thoughts on that. Feel free to set me straight if you think I've got it wrong. Either way, once the bear was gone, they wasted no time heading out themselves, moving in the opposite direction, and thankfully, while trekking through the mountains of northeast Mexico, one explorer decided to take an unfamiliar path with his dogs alongside him. Everything seemed perfectly fine at first, until a creeping unease took hold, a gut feeling that something else was out there with them. Then, without warning, a chilling howl tore through the quiet. His youngest dog took off in a panic, while the oldest held its ground, planting itself between its owner and whatever lurked nearby. He managed to settle the animals down before getting out of there fast. The following day, though, he went back, this time with the trail camera, which he set up and left running. What it recorded next stopped people in their tracks, a mysterious silhouette lurking deep among the trees. Skeptics dismissed it outright, but others are convinced it could be nothing less than Bigfoot itself.